FARTHEST Frontier, the amazing new city builder survival game from Crate Entertainment that went into early access over the summer, now just got its major first update. Version 0.8 is live for everybody and it comes with tons of new improvements. Right from the start, the game was pretty good. A lot of people were saying this is the city builder, the survival game of the year. Coming from this great developer team, we were expecting a lot, and indeed they did us disappoint. Right from the start, the game was pretty good. It wasn't perfect, this is early access. In particular, the optimization is quite poor, so if you get into a very big city like 500 people, your computer will probably struggle. But that is normal for early access, right? The optimization is always done towards the end. Another element that a lot of people sort of complain about is the game wasn't fully balanced. There were some elements that you could really take advantage. For example, make a lot of candles and sell them and make a lot of money. Or the AI for your villagers were not always the best. For example, when you had a fire in your city, most of your villagers will just stop whatever they were doing, dropping the food they were carrying, for example, and run to the fire. And then half of them, would arrive when the fire would already be extinguished. So your villagers were not always the best. But with 0.8, all of this changes. The change log is very long, so I'm definitely not going to go through it all. But if you want to read any detail, just check in the video description below, I will put the link. I will just highlight the major feature that will change for sure a lot. I was just talking about the villager AI and it received a lot of upgrades. They're a lot more efficient or intelligent at performing tasks. For example, when there is a fire, don't worry, only a couple of your people are going to stop what they're doing to go get some water in the well and then extinguish the fire. Everybody else will continue working. Similarly, when you're trying to create new buildings, place new roads, it's not like all of your laborers from all corners of your towns are going to get there. It's only the ones that are living the closest, that are going to go there. And all the other laborers may be focusing on something else in the other corner of the town. So they're a lot smarter. The second element I wanted to highlight is there's actually a number of new ornaments, not just to make your city prettier, but actually that have impact on the desirability of your town, which enables you to upgrade your buildings, right? Your houses need to be desirable. And in particular, one that I wanted to highlight is this festival pole, which is not actually in the decoration, it's in your amenities and services, because it will also provide some entertainment. It doesn't cost that much, you open it with tier 2, it's only 150 gold. But look at this impact on my desirability. All of the houses are gaining +5, +4. That is huge and quite a big range. And by the way, it links to another huge element, which is now you have this bar over here, which is your desirability. It shows me exactly what is impacting my desirability. For example, over here, right, you can see I have 11% for this house coming from the basic well at 3% and the market at 8%. This new bar also enables you to see what ornaments actually stack and which don't. For example, you can see small gardens, 2 in parentheses. I have 2 small gardens over here. The more small gardens you have in range, of course, of the house, the more bonuses you're getting. On the other hand, for the flagpole, you don't see a 2 in parentheses. I do have 2 flagpoles over here, but actually they do not stack. There is no point in putting 2 flags very close to each other because this will not give you more attractivity. This detailed desirability bar that they've added is definitely great quality of life improvement to really help you progress to these next housing tiers. Another great change is that now many of the buildings have a bit more of a tutorial. You can access it by clicking on the question mark over here. But with that, they're really explaining a bit more what you can see, understand what you can do. For example, select a resource to display detailed information. Right? If I click on any of those resources now, I can see detailed information like the monthly change, how quick it's going to spoil, where it is produced, where it could be used, right? A lot of important information. And for all of the resources that are actually produced, things like meat or your arrows, you can now also set a quota. Right now, this is an infinite quota, but if I click over here, I have a minimum and a maximum quota. What it means, if I put, for example, 100, as soon as we reach 100, all of the production buildings that are making arrows are going to stop. And when we stop, all of the people that were working there will actually go back into the pool of laborers. It's not as if they're just staying in the building and doing nothing. So it's a great way to micromanage a bit more your production. And I really like this feature. But in my opinion, the biggest change is something they actually haven't talked about that much, which is they have balanced the game a lot more. Now, if you try to look at sort of the profit per building, per resource, how many people you need, how much time you need to produce a resource, and then how much is it selling for, you're going to see that most resources will get you towards the same number. Not as if now the candle is everybody's backbone of the economy. Now you actually need to produce a bit of everything. You need to be quite smart and you can't overextend yourself. From everything that I've been seeing and playing myself, the game is now a lot more balanced, especially in the hardest difficulty. They've also reduced the taxes that are generated by high tier houses. On the other hand, increase the service cost of many other buildings. So it's a lot harder to make tons of money and therefore also a lot harder to have a lot of soldiers to defend yourself, which is why the hardest difficulty becomes even harder. And I know that some people have complained that their town, which was making tons of money before, is not making any money anymore. While I fully understand your frustration, I think this is totally normal. First of all, remember that we are in early access, right? This is what early access is for, is to make sure that the game is balanced. And secondly, I think this game, FARTHEST Frontier, is not like Anno 1800 or Satisfactory, where you're supposed to play hundreds of hours on the same save to make something gigantic, to fully optimize it to the most detail. No, this is a game where you're supposed to replay, right? Start a new map. Every single map is randomly generated, right? So providing you a new challenge. This is not a game where you're supposed to just play one save forever. So I think it's totally fine that in early access, they're still changing some of the elements to really balance the game so that when it releases, this is the perfect experience. And by the way, talking about balancing, they've also changed it a bit. The raid difficulties, the combat aspect, where it's a bit easier for Pioneer and Trailblazer, you get a bit less attacked, while it's actually harder on the Vanquisher difficulty. So the Vanquisher difficulty really gets harder now that we have more attacks and less money to defend. So having said all of that, I'm really excited by version 0.8. I think this is really going in the right direction. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And in particular, I think this is now the right time to start a let's play on the channel with this new version in the highest difficulty. Are you excited for that? Tell me in the comments below if you want to see it on the channel. If I get a couple of people saying they do want to see a let's play on the Vanquisher difficulty, I'll definitely bring that to you very soon. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.